wearing. Thank you for your support.
Woo!
Yes. Man, you've been working out, buddy. You look good.
Yeah, I've been picking up lots of food.
So I'm going to get out of the way, get out of the camera, let Liz ask some questions. Again, thanks for everything, Mark.
All right, thank you, Scott.
So, talking about the meeting at the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County, you did your talk on nanotanks. And everyone knows I've been sneaking some shrimp in the house and putting 5-gallon tanks up all over the bedroom. But I wanted to add some fish to it. What kind of fish can I add that will not eat my shrimp in a 5-gallon nano tank?
Well, my favorites are going to be the dwarf rasboras, anything in the genus Boraris. Things like Brigitae, Nevis, any of those are going to work really well with shrimp. You know, some really colorful fish. Most of them not going to get over about 3/4 of an inch in length. You know, probably the best looking one is Brigitae, and that's about 5/8 of an inch. So that's the best choice. If you want something else in there, I'm really kind of partial to licorice gouramis, which may take out some big shrimplets along the way, but they're not going to really bother any adult shrimp.
Okay. And are the rasboras pretty common to get at the stores?
Any independent store will have them, I would think, at least occasionally. I know we get them in pretty regularly. Rachel gets them as well. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to find those.
Very cool. Thank you. I'm going to add some shrimp or add some fish to my tanks now. So at the meeting, you were talking about blue lighting for your planted aquariums. Now, I've never had blue lighting on my aquariums except the night light, you know, in the evenings. What is the importance of the blue light?
Well, the blue actinic light is really what aquatic plants utilize to photosynthesize. It's the spectrum of light that they absorb. Now, contrary, you'll see in a lot of hobbyist things, hobbyist groups, discussion groups, they'll talk about, oh, you don't need much light, much blue light, or you shouldn't use blue light on planted tanks. And that's really wrong. That's kind of a hobbyist misconception. If you look at the scientific literature, it'll show you that this is exactly the light that the plants use. So really, for most planted tanks, I think you're better off using reef-type lighting. You know, using the actinics that, I started using them on planted tanks about a month after I put my first one onto, a reef tank back in about 1985. And I've been using them ever since. With the blue light, with the actinic light in the daytime, you're going to get a lot of things are going to be different in the tank. The overall look of the tank is going to be a bit different. It'll really enhance a lot of the colors of the fish. And your red plants in particular are going to be a much brighter, deeper red over time.
Very cool.
But it benefits everything. But I run it for about the same length of time I run the daylights.
Okay, because I just added one to my tank, and I wasn't sure how long to leave it on for.
Yep. Yeah, same time that you have the daylights on. You know, if you want to do that sunrise, sunset, and simulate that, you can have that come on first, and then the daylights come on after that. That's a pretty common way to go as well.
Okay, great. I'm excited to see how my plants do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, you should see a difference over the next, 4 to 6 weeks.
Very cool. Before the meeting on last Saturday, I ran into a friend of mine who used to be pretty big into nanofish and in the hobby. And I told her I was going over to see you speak on Saturday, and she said, oh, Mark Denaro. She said, I've read all of his articles in Tropical Fish Hobbyist magazine. You know, I didn't know he worked at a store and did all this, too. So I don't think a lot of people realize that you're very accomplished as an author. You've had a book come out with Rachel O'Leary. You know, you're not only just running a shop, you know. You've got your hands in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter just calls me King of the Fish Geeks, so.
Is there a certain topic that you've written about over the years that you're really excited about, your favorite thing?
I'll tell you, I've been really lucky with TFH. They have let me write pretty much anything I want. So I've written, a lot of freshwater articles, a lot of saltwater articles, but, my favorite thing to write about over the years has been really my favorite group of fish, which is the fish, the anabantoids. And I did a column for them that ran for 3 or 4 years on that group of fish. So those were probably my favorite articles.
Very, very, very cool. I'm excited. She actually asked if I wanted some of the old magazines to catch up on some of your work.
Good bath reading.
So part of this store that you run, Natural Pets Plus, I hope I'm saying that right, formerly Captain Nemo's.
Right, it's Natural Pets by Pets Plus. It's in East Norriton, Pennsylvania. I run the fish room in the store.
Well, we've been up there a lot of times, several times, and you import fish not only from the United States but from all over the world. What has been your holy grail of fish that you were able to get into the store?
I'm going to go back a little further than the store to give you a couple of holy grails. Basically, back when I was doing Anubias Design, which I ran that from early 2000s until about 2010 or 2012 or so. And the first one of those would be betta macrostoma, which, when I started keeping wild bettas back in the 80s, that fish was not in the United States. You couldn't get them. You couldn't find them. Didn't matter how much you were willing to spend. In the 90s, we started hearing rumors that, there's 2 pairs of them in Japan, or there's 3 guys in Japan who have it, but you still couldn't get them here. So the first time I got those in, I was really excited about that. And then the other one is Macropodus ocellatus, which used to be called Macropodus chinensis. It's the Chinese paradise fish. And you'll see in some older books, there's one really spectacular picture of a male in breeding condition. He's got the full spade tail going. He's got the whole pattern. The fins are perfect. And all of us in the old timers in the hobby would see that picture in book after book after book for 30 or 40 years, and you flat out could not get fish. So when that one started coming in about 10 years ago or so, that was really exciting too. I know we seem to have them pretty readily available for about 2 years there, and now they've been gone again since. There's still a couple of guys around the country that are breeding some that were brought in at that timeline. So, at least the fish is in the hobby, and it does exist here now.
Right. Well, that's really cool, Mark. Thanks for coming on today and chatting with us.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
It's a phone call for you. Why don't you take it out there?
I'll talk to you later. I've got a phone call.
All right, sounds good.
Close the door behind you. Hey, Mark, I got her out of here. Listen,
Good.
I just purchased a 150-gallon tank. I want to fill it up with a lot of tank busters. You called me the second you got some stuff I can fill in that tank, all right? And keep it
those
secret.
datnoids, man. I got datnoids over there. They're great.
I'm coming down. I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
All right?
All right.
Thanks for everything, Mark.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if you want to visit Mark Denaro and get any really cool fish, you can check him out at Natural Pets Plus, formerly Captain Nemo's, at 2876 DeKalb Pike, East Norton, PA, 19401.